to start with you, Richard. So just to introduce Richard, Norbert, and Thomas, myself, Frank. I want to start with you. So what does it mean for you in the context of AI transformation, agility? How Microsoft is trying to help people to become that agile, adopting AI, and what do you see?
Okay, such a privilege. Now, when we think about this, it's not just in the context of our customers and our partners, but really about ourselves, right? So one of the key things that we have to do as a company is really being customer zero of our technologies. So how are we embedding these capabilities across our sales and marketing function, our finance function, our supply chain function? And we have some of these, all these use cases and stories to tell. When we think about that, then we can credibly express that to our customers and our partners itself. But at the same time, as we think about Microsoft, we are a global company operating across so many different countries, so many different jurisdictions, regulations, all of that. We have to be very cognizant of what are all the laws that we have to adhere with when we operate in different countries and different regions itself. So when we think about governance, how our cloud services work, how our AI agents work in different jurisdictions, different countries, and how we are enabling our customers and partners, but also staying at the same time compliance with the local laws and regulations as well. So the way we think about scale, we want to be sure that we are bringing our capabilities in AI across the world. We're literally operating like, I have lost count, 400 open data centers in 70 cloud regions around the world. But I think this is the notion of where AI is now the new electricity itself. It's a general purpose technology, and what are we empowering our partners and our customers to build more tools, to build more platforms, to build more services on top of that.
Thank you. It's quite insightful, and I think it will be interesting to look at it from a vertical. So, Dr. Norbert, with respect to the automotive industries, how do you define this agility today? How AI, ML, all this engineering on that help you to ship this software and also to move to new ways of developing the vehicle and so on? It would be very interesting that you share some insight on that.
Yeah, thank you very much for this question. I think it's a long way. Things are changing. Yeah, we started with some Scrum methods in developments. Yeah, having very short steps in our developments, and nevertheless following these cycles. So this is one part of agility. So many years ago we started. We are working with systems engineering. So in automotive industry, you have to think about in a passenger car, there's an engine, there's a transmission, and there are many hardware components. And in the past, everybody was developing these components maybe on any step. Today we cannot live anymore without systems engineering, so we start with the final definition of the targets. And then there are gateways where we say, okay, this we will do solved by hardware, and this we will solve by software. It's a totally different approach. So this is systems engineering. And then for sure we are all the day talking about AI, generative AI, and agentic AI. We cannot miss it anymore. This is accelerating our processes, and therefore it's very important to know how to use it. And I would add one thing. All of us are talking about electric vehicles and how many electric vehicles we have. What we see that the vehicle EE architectures and the software-defined vehicle is coming much faster with the electric vehicles. So therefore, here we are not talking about the electric vehicles, but the electric vehicles are somehow the enabler for bringing software-defined vehicles and all these developments in the vehicles. Today, there are some cars in the market. You have a battery electric vehicle and you have a combustion engine version. And from software, EV structure, from infotainment, the battery electric is much more modern as the one with the combustion engine. Although this is not the reason, but the trend, the energy is going in this way.
And how you see the agility in AI transformation moving from a legacy, I would say, perspective and infrastructures?
Well, So first, I really believe that agility for us means always a kind of adaptability. How quickly can we adapt to really rapidly changing requirements on the market from customers and also on technology. And how can we utilize it within our company, how to keep our also knowledge up to date. And that goes like, you mentioned legal requirements, and it's about IT infrastructure on one hand, how to get all data consistent, transparent, very important. But for me, it's always how can we as a traditional company keep this cutting edge know-how for rapidly changing AI technologies, and therefore the precondition for agility is strategic partnering, and we work together with FPT, who can help us to catch up with this changing know-how. And so I really believe that yes, agility for us is always about strategic partnering, how we organize ourselves in the way that we are fast and always the time to market.
Thank you. And I'm just putting my phone here because all the questions changed, so I will look behind. So with respect to Microsoft, Richard, we know that today you have all those nice tools, so the AI agent, the copilot, the fabric, and so on. So how do you optimize all that, and how you use all that in fact to deliver really something that will help the customer be impactful in this complex multi-orchestration workflows and so on?
That's a great question, and I think the key word here is multi-agent orchestration itself. I think this is where it starts to get interesting, because the way you think about the agent, it's not about just, let's say, for example, a single task. Actually, the agent has a lot more deeper when it thinks about the kind of different data that it's working with and making some autonomous decision itself. So when we think about transforming workflows at Microsoft, so let's say, for example, in the supply chain area itself, where, yes, we do manufacture hardware products too, we also look at all the supply chain signals that was going through the different supply chains from all the way from the manufacturing plants right down to our distributors itself. And I think COVID-19, the pandemic itself, taught us a lot about where we need to get those different signals, where we need to be able to orchestrate all of that information itself to then inform our product planners, our buyers, for example, to plan for the product itself. Now, when we think about these, let's say, discrete processes itself, we think then in terms of agents. So we are literally right now processing like literally hundreds and millions of different signals across the chain, where we have agents that are looking at that, but also interacting with our product planning agents as well, where the human product planners then take some of this information to say, how can we orchestrate when we think about the product planning cycles itself, and when we introduce the products, and when do we think about the go-to-market plans associated with that particular product. These are just some examples. Honestly, I think it is really up to the imagination of everyone to really think about how we can use a different multi-agent orchestration. Because processes at my company and processes at your company and all your partners and customers are going to be very different. And you might through these processes itself find unique value to create new products and new services itself that maybe your customer really value. So I think there are good examples that are out there. Definitely study those. But I think you want to see what is the unique differentiator that you can bring to the market, where it's different from whether it's your competitors, but I think more importantly, how you are using all of this and then creating the differentiation that brings value to your customer, and then maintaining the retention itself, right?
So very interesting and very insightful, especially that you are your own customer zero. And if we look at your latest financial status, looks like it's successful. So in your company, Dr. Tomas, there is a lot of AI application that people are using, but what are the best examples that you can give on AI application that improve the efficiency of your product? And also how this help you to be an organization that is fully embed AI into your organization process and so on.
I'm responsible for R&D, so we have the 3 areas where we apply AI in our company, and one is, of course, on the process side, like in product development. Second is within our products for customers, and third one for knowledge management. So if I look at the first two examples, so our products are, for example, fans, which you can also find in these rooms in air conditioning. So such a products must be highly efficient but so quiet. And it's also a matter how you achieve that. So typically you optimize by like computer-aided simulation, efficiency and acoustic at the same time as aerospace industry doing, but it's very time-consuming and it costs a lot of money. So we don't produce 2 planes a year, but hundreds of fans. So we cannot really afford that, and therefore one big focus in our company is 3D AI. So how we utilize historical data from simulation measurements to develop models which enable us to guess this value just pressing a button. And we want to bring these ideas towards our customers. So what we are working on together with FPT is new generation of product configurator. It will be kind of engineering to order system where the customer is pressing this button and gets geometry which perfectly fits to a given application. So customers don't need any PhD guys, they just can do it with design or application engineer, and then the data are transferred to us and we can produce it at delivery. So from our point of view, that's something what really cuts time to market, so we are much faster compared to the past, and each customer can get really an application which perfectly fits to the requirements. And another example which I would like to mention, because we have a Microsoft here and we use data centers and we provide cooling solutions for data centers. So just to have an imagination, like 40–50% of energy of data center is lost for cooling. So you don't use it for data which you can sell, but you have to pay bill for electricity. So how to cut it down, that's a topic, and we really develop special digital services which are AI-based and which enable to orchestrate all cooling components in data centers in the way that you always get what you need at the real time. And if you do it this way, then you can save 40–50% of energy, which we really broken. So from my point of view, it's a future for data centers. And again, AI is very important tool to achieve this very high efficiency. So.
Oh, very nice, very nice. And I think that as FPT, we'll be very proud if we succeed to have a successful business matchmaking between your 2 companies.